Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window and a bit of a change compared to what we've seen the last few days. The last couple of days, crystal clear skies and lots of sunshine. Today, filtered sunshine across most of north central Washington with a low cloud deck today. Really, it's all because of a low pressure system that moved into British Columbia, and that really won't affect us as far as precipitation goes, but we have seen some breezy areas around our viewing area today with winds about 10 to 20 miles an hour in some locations, and with the clouds and the cooler air, cooler temperatures today. But to our east, we do have a red flag warning, and that will go until about 8 o'clock tonight, and that is for some part of our viewing area over in the Wilbur area. Also, Ritzville has a red flag warning, even into Spokane if you're traveling that way. That just means conditions are very favorable if any new fire spreads because of breezy winds, low humidities, and fairly warm temperatures. And we will talk more about weather and a very hot weather forecast coming up next week, and we'll do that a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Once again, a suspect in Grant County found out the hard way about the power of a police dog. Above normal, significant large fire potential is expected in our area in both August and September. And the Wenatchee Valley welcomes the United States Figure Skating Showcase Championships, which are going on all weekend at the Town Toyota Center. But first we begin tonight. Smoke from a fire near Mansfield forced the closure of Highway 172 for more than an hour Thursday night. The fire, about 8 miles east of Mansfield, burned about 150 acres of wheat stubble, and sagebrush before crews were able to get it under control. The fire was at Road 13 Northeast and Road M Northeast. It took just over 2 hours from the report of the fire before firefighters had it contained. By 8 o'clock last night, crews from Douglas County Fire Districts 5 and 3 were doing mop-up work. Well, once again, a suspect in Grant County found out the hard way about the power of a police dog. This time, the owner of a stolen car spotted his vehicle near Winchester on Thursday. As sheriff's deputies arrived, the suspect, 28-year-old Joshua D. Avalos, ran into a random house and refused to come out of a storage area, that according to the sheriff's office. Deputies sent in canine Chewbacca to persuade him otherwise. Chewy bit Avalos in the forearm after finding him hiding behind mattresses, and then latched onto his shoulder and held him for the arrest. Well, above normal, significant fire potential is expected along the east slopes of the North Cascades, the Wenatchee Valley, the Columbia Basin, and the Palouse in eastern Washington in August and September. That's the latest from the National Interagency Fire Center in Boise, Idaho. Outlooks for August suggest warmer than average conditions for much of the western United States, particularly the Pacific Northwest. Long-term drought continues to expand in western Washington, northern Washington, along the Canadian border, and also in northwestern Oregon. Well, the Wenatchee Valley welcomes the United States Figure Skating Showcase Championships, which are going on all weekend long at the Town Toyota Center. Here's more.
We are so pleased to welcome the National Showcase competition at the Town Toyota Center. And we're here live. We have over 400 skaters, over 700 start times for these individual skaters, and 100 pairs. And so we're pleased to have this national competition. This is a United States National Showcase competition. The skaters behind me are getting ready for their theatrical performance. They will be showing everything from The Wizard of Oz to The Greatest Showman to some Annie. It's the costuming, it's the performance that really brings the judges' attention. This competition is really entertaining to watch for the public because you're going to see high quality performance, you're going to see sets, props, and excellent skating all come together. These skaters range from anywhere from 8 years old all the way up to teens, some young adults as well. And so you're going to see some fun national skating. So the schedule is we are pretty much here from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Watching wonderful skating from nationals. Skaters are coming in from all around the U.S. This is a showcase. So these are skaters that are performing fun, entertaining, on the ice competitions. And these are skaters that have won their locals and they're coming here to perform and skate for you. Tickets are only $20 for adults, $15 for student tickets, and we're open through Sunday. This means so much to the community as well as to the Town Toyota Center. So it's just been really a wonderful thing to see so many skaters, coaches come together. Special thanks to the Wenatchee Figure Skating Club for putting this on and really being the champions and the leaders in this. The Wenatchee Sports Council as well. I know they put the bid on it about 3 years ago. We've been working really hard to host this national competition.
Coming up next, various bridge inspection projects around Chelan County next week may impact travel. We'll tell you where that work is. As the Gorge Amphitheater prepares to host one of its biggest events of the year, the Grant County Sheriff's Office has some friendly advice for concert goers, and we'll let you know what's going on around the valley for you to enjoy this weekend. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Where will you be a year from now? You could be working as a medical assistant. The Charter College Medical Assistant Certificate Program gets you work ready in 10 months. Add 5 more months to earn an associate degree. We prepare you with hands-on training and support you after graduation with job search help and interview skills. Institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, Charter has been training healthcare professionals for more than 30 years. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
There's a new home loan rolling through Spokane. If you're looking for a home, check out a Giza home loan.
When we decided to move to Spokane, we were really close to retirement.
I never thought we'd have a home on the water.
Oh, I know, me neither.
One thing that I loved about working with Giza was I felt like we were always treated as a human, as a friend, rather than just as a business dealing.
We needed a home that we would be able to live happily and comfortably for the rest of our lives. And Giza made it happen.
The Giza home loan. Apply today.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. And another news, a heads up tonight that various bridge inspection projects around Chelan County all next week may impact travel. While inspections are underway, traffic will be reduced to 1 lane on the impacted bridges with flaggers directing traffic. Minor traffic delays are expected. Travelers are asked to find alternate routes during the bridge inspections. On Monday, inspections will begin at the Chihuahua River Bridge. Tuesday, the inspections move to both the Dryden Bridge and the Sleepy Hollow Bridge. On Wednesday, both bridges over Eniat River Road will be inspected. And finally, on Thursday, workers will be looking at the Chelan Falls 2 Bridge. All of the inspections will take place in the morning hours. Well, as the Gorge Amphitheater prepares to host one of its biggest events of the year, the Grant County Sheriff's Office has some friendly advice for concert goers. Most of it involves making common sense choices as tens of thousands of people descend on the site for Watershed. That's a 3-day country music festival that starts today. With temperatures expected to be in the 90s and hotter all weekend, staying hydrated is vital, the department warned. In addition, people are advised to avoid taking drinks or drugs from strangers and to let security know if you see any sketchy behavior. The Sheriff's Office also has a Gorge Alert app this year that deputies can use to advise concert goers if there are any safety issues. Time to find out now what's happening around the valley for you to enjoy this weekend.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. The Wenatchee Downtown Association is hosting their annual summer sidewalk sale this Friday and Saturday. Find the hottest deals downtown out on the street. Come to Friday Night Flights this Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Eagle Creek Winery in Leavenworth. The $15 ticket price includes a live music performance with a tasting of any 6 of their delicious wines. Find Your Way Known Treasure Hunt is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join in for a treasure hunt and free family fun in downtown Kashmir. Pick up a map for a self-guided hunt at the Kashmir Chamber of Commerce's downtown info booth or at participating businesses. Locate all 11 treasure chests and use the stamp on site to mark your map. Once complete, return to the info booth to claim your treasure. All completed maps will be entered in the grand prize giveaway. And finally, Chelan Rustler Saddle Club is hosting its annual junior rodeo at the Chelan Rodeo Grounds this Saturday and Sunday. Children, teens, and in between will compete in 52 events from mutton busting to pole bending to calf roping, barreling, and much more. Admission is free to all spectators. For more information on this weekend's events and others, visit the community calendar at ncwlife.com.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor. Naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
At some point, we realized that value and practicality go hand in hand. A time when an unnoticed accumulation of items has become burdensome. These possessions still have value, but now lack usefulness. Donate your unwanted items to Goodwill and become a job creator. Your donations allow Goodwill to provide much-needed training to job seekers in our community. And that's pretty useful for everyone.
Make plans to attend the August 30th grand opening of the all-new Goodwill on Columbia Center Boulevard in Kennewick.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, one of two tax measures on the primary ballot this year is Proposition 1, a sales tax increase in Chelan and Douglas counties for Link Transit. NCWLIFE's Caitlin Hedersheet has more.
The sales tax for Link would be phased in 0.2% increase, with a 1/10 increase in January and the other 1/10 January 2021. Both supporters and an opponent of Proposition 1 have appeared on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with Dan Kuntz in recent weeks to make their cases. That included Russ Spidell, the campaign manager for Yes on Prop 1 campaign.
We have about 1 million or more boarders a year now. Over half of those people are going to and from work. About a quarter of those people are going to school. And so I see this proposal as an investment in our community. Because as we expand the service of Link, we run our buses now. I say we, I'm not an employee, I'm a volunteer.
Right.
But as you've pointed out, Dan, I'm chairing this campaign. Mm-hmm. We have a schedule which is essentially 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. If this passes, we'll start at 4:30 a.m. and go to 11:30 p.m. Now, what does that do? It helps the people who work in hotels, restaurants, in agriculture, especially when we go to Sunday and holiday. Mm-hmm. If you're working in a shed or in an orchard, you need 7-day-a-week access. Mm-hmm. And so this, to me, is an economic investment in our communities. And I think when we raise the tide, all boats go up. So to me, it's an economic investment. Yes, it is a 0.2% proposed increase in the sales tax, but it's so much more than that.
But Al Lorenz of Manson, an opponent of the sales tax increase, said Link lacks the ridership to support more funding.
The first thing I looked at was how does Link run on subsidies already compared to other transit systems? What I found is typical transit systems recover about 1/3 of their costs from fares. Link recovers 2% in 2019. Mm-hmm. And so a $2 fare, which would be a transfer. It's a little less than it costs to get on from one of the places outside of town, is seeing $98 in taxpayer subsidy already, and I was floored by that. So we started looking at some of the other numbers, and on the Facebook page, there's a guy who went through and took the boarding numbers for Link, which they look at each time somebody goes onto a bus, and that's different than a passenger. Okay, a passenger, if they do a transfer, that's 2 boardings. If they do a round trip, that's 2 boardings. If they do a round trip with a transfer, that's 4 boardings. Okay, so it's not an indication. You know, it'd be a very optimistic indication of actual passengers. But he did the calculations, and you know, those big 40-foot buses we see running around the county, he figured out that the average number of boardings, just people stepping on a bus in an entire route, is only 7.2. So we're running 40-foot buses with nobody on them, which kind of corresponds to what I see when I'm driving around.
In addition, Lorenz says the bulk of financial support for Proposition 1 has come from companies that would benefit from its passage, not citizens.
The Pro-Link committee, I went into the PDC and found that, gee, there's like 5 or 6 corporate vendors who have done over 90% of the money. And these are all people that serve to benefit from this thing passage. One is Avail Technologies, which is a software company that sells software to Link for collecting fares and managing their system. Another is Gillig, the bus maker, when you see these shiny new 40-foot buses going around. So they've got millions in benefits, the Teamsters Union's another one, that they'll get from this taxpayer money, from taxpayer largesse. And so that, you know, I'm not seeing a bunch of people contributing to support this thing, citizens, so I don't even think the people in Wenatchee think Link's efficient.
Link manager Richard DeRock appeared with Dominic Bonney on an earlier show and said citizen involvement, in fact, has driven the idea of a sales tax increase.
We reached out to the community starting in 2016, and we went out and said, what should be the future of Link Transit in our community? And we got about 1,600 responses to that first survey, which gave a whole list of things people wanted to have in the community. We took that list, went through and identified what we can legally do. People asked for service to Seattle, asked for services that are not within our authority to do. Took those out of it, figured out what the costs would be to actually meet what people ask, and went back out. We mailed a survey to every single residence in our county area and said, okay, this is what you told us you were interested in. What are you willing to pay for? Because this is going to take additional revenue to do it. And it was an interactive survey where people could pick off the services they liked, and that showed them what the impact on the sales tax was for them. And 67% identified that about a 2/10 level of additional services, about $5.5 million a year additional expenditure, would fund what they wanted to do. And number 1 on the list was Sundays. I think 83% of the people who responded wanted Sunday service.
People still need to go places on Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things in the survey when we dug through it was people that were asking for the service were much more non-riders than riders. The riders actually make use of what we have. It was people were telling us, I would use the bus, but you don't operate when my job is. We don't operate Sundays, we don't operate second and third shift coverage. We were also hearing from the businesses, that's a huge issue for them. We don't really serve the tourist market in our community for the service workers, which is a big part of our economy because we don't operate Sundays, we don't operate Saturday evenings.
Mail-in ballots for the primary election are due next Tuesday by 8 p.m. I'm Caitlin Hedersheet, NCWLIFE News.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast as we take a look outside our weather window at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera at Wenatchee Heights. Today's high temperature cooler than we've seen the last couple of days and below normal actually. 86 our high today. We started off on the warm side today though, didn't we? At 68 degrees. That's 5 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. Your record high on this date back in 1961, 103 degrees. Record low, 48 degrees, and that was in 19 1464. Let's take a look now at that surface loop and show you what we can expect over the next 7 days. Tonight, mostly clear skies. We talked about an area of low pressure that started off here yesterday. It skirted across British Columbia, now into Alberta and Saskatchewan, and that still did bring us some breezy conditions. We'll see a little bit of that tonight as well. But as we get into the weekend, boy, just fantastic. Saturday, sunny conditions. We'll see light winds. Temperatures really seasonal for this time of year. Remember, our normal high temperature is 89 degrees, so that's about what we'll see on Saturday. And boy, take a deep breath, because on Sunday, the heat wave begins all across the western United States. We will see sunshine on Sunday and warmer temperatures with highs on Sunday creeping into the mid-90s for most of us in the Wenatchee Valley and north central Washington. For Monday, even hotter than that. We will see, as you can see, dark orange and red temperatures Monday, temperatures in the upper 90s. Yes, maybe 100 degrees as we move into Tuesday with lots of sunshine all over central and eastern Washington. We will most definitely see 100 degrees for you folks in Moses Lake and also down into the Tri-Cities. Wednesday, it will remain hot, maybe not quite as hot as Tuesday, but we'll still see temperatures between 95 and 100 degrees. Thursday, maybe a little bit of relief. We'll see partly cloudy skies. You can see some scattered cloudiness around the state of Washington by Thursday. And when we say slightly cooler, we're still talking temperatures in the lower 90s. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune 7-day forecast. Tonight will drop down to 63 degrees. Tomorrow still not bad. 88 as we kick off our weekend. 93 for Sunday. And then those hot 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, cooling back to 91 as we get into Thursday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Are you watching me? If you're watching me and you are a business owner in North Central Washington, your potential customers could be seeing your TV commercial right now. With Solion Broadcasting, TV advertising is effective and affordable. Place your ads on the network best suited to your potential customers, or get top-of-mind awareness with 16 cable networks, including NCWLIFE, your local TV channel. Give Solion Broadcasting a call at 888-2020 today to see how easy and affordable it is to advertise on TV.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Friday to you. One thing that has become very clear as the Apple Sox season winds down is that every game from here on out is huge. Wenatchee begins a 3-game series with the Yakima Valley Pippins in town tonight at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. While Victoria continues to win, the task for Wenatchee is to secure the next best record in the North Division of the West Coast League in order to make the playoffs for the first time since 2013. To do that, they'll have to take the final 3 series of the season beginning this weekend with Yakima Valley in town. Now, last time the two teams met back in June, the Pippins swept the 3-game set 4-1, 8-3, and 4-2. This was also the second series of the season for the Apple Sox when defense was definitely a liability. Wenatchee committed 6 errors in the 3-game set, and 4 of Yakima Valley's runs were unearned. Jake Somm will take the ball for Coach Kyle Crustangel tonight. He's 3-1 with a 3.37 ERA. The Pippins have not announced their starter. 6:35 game time. Well, taking a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard in West Coast League play last night, Matt Clayton's 2-run home run highlighted a 6-run 8th inning as Victoria raced a 3-1 deficit to post a 7-3 win over Cowlitz. Nate Pacoda was also 2 for 4 for the Harbor Cats with a home run. Ridgefield got home runs from Michael Hicks and Dusty Garcia, while Johnny Weaver and Grayson Sterling had 3 hits apiece. The Raptors feasted on Bellingham pitching in a 9-3 victory. Jake Fisher's walk-off RBI single concluded a wild ninth inning in Kelowna as the Falcons defeated Port Angeles 7-6. The lefty scored 4 runs in the top of the ninth inning to take a 6-2 lead, thanks in part to 2 bases-loaded walks. But then Kelowna came back in the bottom half of the frame after a sacrifice fly to make it 6-3. Brandon Hoop tied the game with a 3-run double. That set up the Fisher heroics. Here's the updated standings of the West Coast League's North Division as we head into the weekend. Wenatchee now trails Victoria by a full game after the Harbor Cats posted a win last night. Port Angeles still within distance at 10-8, 3 games back. The chance for everyone else in the second half division race are growing pretty thin. Now, the target again for Wenatchee probably going to be the best overall record behind Victoria in the division. Apple Sox still lead Bellingham by a game and a half in that regard. Port Angeles 3.5 games back. Wenatchee's opponent this weekend, Yakima Valley, still technically alive at 19-26. They're 5 games behind the Sox. Well, hey, don't forget, we'll have Game 2 of the 3-game set this weekend, tomorrow, right here on the NCWLIFE channel. Pregame, 6:15, first pitch at 6:35. Well, the Mariners are starting a 3-game series in Houston tonight. The Astros have the second-best record in all of baseball behind the Dodgers at 70-40. They're running away with American League West, leading Oakland by 8 games. Seattle, meanwhile, 6th worst record in the American League at 47-64 as the rebuild continues. Yusei Kikuchi will start for the Mariners while Wade Miley goes for Houston. First pitch is, well, just happened at Minute Maid Park. Astros coming in after taking 2 of 3 from Cleveland. Garrett Cole went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits to earn his 13th win of the season last night. George Springer and Alex Bregman each went yard for the Astros in the 7-1 win. Matt Chapman's 2-run home run highlighted a 3-run 8th as Oakland came from behind to beat Milwaukee 5-3. In football news, Russell Wilson missed practice today for only the second time in his career to attend the funeral of his grandfather in Norfolk, Virginia. While his team's thoughts and prayers were with Wilson and his family, it gave backup quarterbacks Paxton Lynch and Geno Smith a chance for considerable work with the first-teamers. Lynch says he's benefited a great deal from being around a guy like Russell Wilson.
How big of a presence he has. He's just such a huge, it's just a huge almost atmosphere around him, the way he carries himself, the way he is around his teammates, the way he is around the coaches and everybody else. So it's just really impressive to me the way he carries himself day in and day out and the work that he puts into this and obviously the benefits that he reaps from it.
Now, Geno Smith has bounced around the NFL after being drafted by the Giants 7 years ago. He says the battle for the backup role is no different than preparing as if you're a starter.
Trying to keep the same mindset. Obviously, you got a guy here who's going to be the starter and has been the starter. And, Paxton and I, we're competing really hard, for this backup spot, right? But you always come out with the mindset that you got to compete like a starter. Even if you are the backup, you're always one play away. So you never know, right? You never know. So you got to be, really sharp with your reads. You got to understand the offense just as well as the starter does. And when you go out there, you got to execute the same way.
Seattle hosts Denver next Thursday at CenturyLink Field. The Broncos 1-0 after a 14-10 win over Atlanta in the Hall of Fame game last night. Well, coming up on the sports schedule for this weekend, as we heard from Megan earlier, the United States Figure Skating Club's 2019 National Showcase taking place at the Town Toyota Center. It began yesterday and runs through Sunday. Eastern Washington NIT Softball Tournament runs tomorrow and Sunday at Walla Walla Point Park. Chelan Junior Rodeo also happening Saturday and Sunday up at the Chelan Rodeo grounds. And if you want to see some fantastic roping, the World Series roping event happening this weekend at Appalachia. That's sports news. Have a great weekend. Grant, back to you.
And thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel Monday morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
NCWLIFE channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and other stuff. The 12th District.
Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCWLIFE Channel is your local TV station.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
I am Dan Coots. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Those actresses from the 70s that I had a huge crush on.